Hi there, it's Kathy with Be Creative with Kathy. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I have a really cute card for you today. So let me give you the background on the card real quick. So in Houston, I went to the Stampin' Up! Demonstrator event called Onstage, and at Onstage we do swaps, and you've watched my videos, you've seen I showed you the swaps that I took, but this is one that I got back, and let me make sure I have her information. Now, I swapped with Christy Reinholds. I'm terrible at name. Reinholds. Anyway, and so this was her swap, and look how cute this is. And I fell in love with this card as soon as I saw it, right? First of all, I love the Cutest Cows. I think they're adorable. But I wanted to recreate this card. And in fact, I did recreate this card. This card was part of my stamp club this month. So if you're part of stamp club, you got one of these made in your packet. That was my third card. Long story short. So then I went to make the card, and I realized that this paper here is designer series paper that was a part of Celebration. It was the cute birds, if you're familiar with Stampin' Up! Celebration, but you can't get it anymore. And of course, I used all mine, so I had to create my own designer series paper. So that's what I'm going to show you, is this really fun fold, cute, fun fold, whatever. And I'll show you how to make your own designer series paper. Okay, so let's go ahead and just jump right in and get started. I did my cards, I made them the beginning of April, so I don't really remember the measurements and stuff, but that's all on my blog. You can go visit becreativewithkathy.com and find all the measurements there. But let's start first of all with just our stamping. And like I said, I have all my pieces and parts here. I'm going to stamp on this white. This is going to be the inside of my card. Now Christine did a little punch here too. I don't have this punch. In fact, this punch is on back order till the end of May. It's called the modern oval punch, but I'm going to just put this layer on the inside without that punch. So I'm going to stamp on that for the inside. This is going to be my greeting. It's just a scrap, and then I have a scrap here so I can stamp my little cows, and then we're going to stamp on a piece of designer series paper. Couldn't come up with that name. Now this designer series paper is part of the balloons, and I should have checked because this is on the retired list, so I don't know if it's still available, but you could probably find something close to that that would work if you don't have that one. Okay, I'm going to use, because I'm going to color with my blends markers, I'm going to use black Memento ink. And I can't just, yeah, I'm going to just use this. Usually sometimes I use this ink pad. Now I took a craft white empty ink pad and I refilled it with black Memento. In fact, I'm going to use this one. I think you get a nice big stronger image, so let's just use this one. Anyway, I refilled it with Memento, so then I have a foam Memento ink pad, because these are felt, and sometimes the felt just aren't as user friendly as the foam. So there we go. Okay, so let's start. Oh, and I need one more stamp that I forgot to mount, is that Milk It for All It's Worth that I'm going to stamp on this little strip. So let me get that stamped out. There's a bunch of cute little images, and I was talking to my club members yesterday, and I think at club we used every image in the stamp set, if you can imagine. I mean, we made a bunch of cards, and all those images are cute and fun. It's just a good time with little cow stamp set. Okay, so I suggest you have, and of course mine is not here, so I'm going to go against my rules, but use the foam mat. I'm going to just stamp, so we'll see how it turns out, and if not, I'll stop and find my foam mat. But usually with the photopolymer stamps, you need that foam mat to get a good image. Now my desk is a hard surface, so it's going to stamp okay. And look at we'll take that. It's a little bit thick, but I think it's going to work. It says Milk It for All It's Worth. Okay, let me see my card here so I can see. Now on this one, I want to stamp the words that say, "It's your special day," like this. And then I'm going to just stamp a little flower here. Oh, and then another stamp that we need, we're going to use that little milk can here. That little milk can right here. And we'll stamp a little milk can on another scrap of paper. Excuse me, we'll have to fussy cut that and put it in the front. There we go. And let's go ahead and stamp our little cow. Now I chose the cow because in the stamp set there's several cow images, but I just chose the one that coordinates with the punch, and then that way you don't have to fussy cut it out and it'll be a little bit faster. And on my scrap here, I'm going to take my cow and I'm going to stamp it as far as I can to the right, and that'll kind of give me this side to hold on to as I punch it. So I'm going to stamp my little cow body all the way to the right there, and then I'm going to flip it over. And this is just if you have a scrap this size, which I don't know what size this is. It's just scraps from my scrap drawer. But then I think that's all the stamping for the black. Then I'm going to just take this and I'm going to cut it in half. And that way when I use my punch, it won't interfere. Like the head won't go into the body when you punch it, and the body won't go into the head. Because, well, I'll show you what I mean when I do the body. But there's our little head, nice and punched out. We have a cow head. Now we just need a cow body. See, because the cow head would have went into the cow body. Well, I don't know. You punch how you practice and play and see how you like to punch once you have the bundle. That's the other thing, that on my blog are a list of all the supplies and stuff that I use to make the card too. Okay, there we go. So now I'm going to color my little bits and pieces here. So I want to color my flower, my cow, and my milk tin. So I'm going to start with light smoky slate. Oh, and this is scratch so I can practice. Okay, because sometimes my blends, I have blends that are really old and blends that are new, and sometimes my old ones are a little bit lighter than what I want them. Sometimes the new ones are a little bit darker than what I want them, but I think this one, he looks really happy, so he must be a newer one. That's what happens when you've been buying blends for years. And I do love the markers, and I love the fact that once they get old, they just get, you know, a little bit light, and you have a lighter color blends. But I'm going to go ahead and color all these little spots quickly. I don't know if you know or not, but coloring is not my, I don't find any joy in it whatsoever. I don't like to color. So I try to make it quick and painless on both me and you watching. Okay, oh, I missed his little bum spot right here. Okay, and then on his head, I'm going to just get that little tuft of hair up here. There we go. And then I'm going to come in with a dark smoky slate marker here, or blends here, and just kind of highlight that. Oops, see, now there's one that's not good. He's dry. I should probably, I bet you his brush tip works. That's probably why I still have him, but there we go. This one's just a little, just a shade darker. There we go. And now my milk tin, you can see how it kind of has those two colors together. Okay, then with some pink, I'm going to go ahead, and this is just Bubble Bath, and I'm going to use the dark. I'm going to just put a little bit of pink here in his inside of his ears, and then color his snout. And I'm not going to worry about his nose. I think his inside of his nose should be pink too, because, well, not that I've never looked up a cow's nose, but I'm assuming that's what they would look. Ooh, and then we almost forgot. That's what, see if I have some, oh, I do have some Daffodil Delight here, and just a little bit yellow on our flower. There, just a cute little flower on the inside. Give it some color and some personality there. Okay, so for my greeting here, I'm going to cut him so he just fits on both sides of the word. And I'm pretty sure this is a half inch wide. But like I said, you go to my blog and all the measurements will be on there. And I'll also put a link to my YouTube video if you're watching me on Facebook. That way, if you need to see parts again or whatever, you can see that there on my YouTube channel. And if you're on YouTube, well, thanks for watching. And be sure and subscribe and do all that stuff that everybody else asks. I don't even know all of the... Sorry, I can't do two things at once either. I can't fussy cut and talk at the same time. But all the subscribe and like and just to support help a girl out. Okay, let's go here. And just, I'm not going to be too fancy with the fussy cutting because it's going to be white on white. So you won't really see all the little details and stuff that I missed. There we go. Just a little milk tin. Okay, now the last of the stamping that we have to do, because we have all the bits. Oh, no. We need to stamp one more time in black. And I almost forgot. And I put my ink pad away. I know you guys, oh, here. I put it way over here. Because I want to stamp some flowers on here for the cow to stand in front of. And I'm going to just ink that up good. and just stamp it down here in the center, maybe a little bit above center, like that. Let that ink sink in and get a nice image, especially on the designer series paper where we can't turn it over. Well, we could, but it's wrong color. Okay, now we're done with that stamping. I'm going to bring in a scrap. Oh, hey, look what I found. Yay, right there. If it would have been a snake, it would have bit me. At least that's my mother used to say. Okay, so then I have a piece here of, I believe this is Bubble Bath. Let's see if it's the same color. Yeah, this is Bubble Bath cardstock, and I'm going to turn this in to match the designer series paper here that was used here. So I'm going to bring in, excuse me, first of all, this stamp here. This is the Art and Texture. I love this stamp set. I loved it at sight, and then I never played with it. And now that I've played with it one time, I really love it. So this stamp right here I have mounted on a block here. And I'm going to use first, and then if I don't like it, I'll turn it over. Because like I said, I made mine a long time ago, and I'm not quite sure which ink I use, so we'll play a little bit. But I'm going to use Highland Heather. It's a little bit darker than the other one I have here is Fresh Freesia. Lost my train of thought. Good Lord. But I'm going to ink up that Highland Heather, and I'm going to stamp off a couple times just to lighten it up, and then put it on my cardstock and just kind of stamp a few times, and look how you get that crazy background that to me looks a lot like the background on here. Okay, then I'm going to stamp off as much of that ink as I can, put this away, and bring in that Fresh Freesia. And now I think I have my stamp clean enough. Now I know a lot of you are probably saying I should probably go clean my stamp, but I think you'll be okay. I'm going to come in here now, and I'm going to, oh, I can't bring myself to stamp full. I think, yeah, see there. Now it's going to be a little bit darker than my other one. And we'll see what you think. What do you think? Does that look pretty close to that one? I think it looks pretty good. In fact, I'm going to stamp, to me it's all on the edge, and I need a little bit more in the middle. So I'm going to stamp that off, and just, there we go. Now look how pretty my designer series paper is. And that's just from using that background stamp, a couple, nothing technical. You saw that, right? Nice. All right, so I think we're ready to go ahead and put our card together. So let's just start with layering. Here's some more Bubble Bath cardstock, and it's scored here at the side at a 1/2 inch, and I wished I would remember, but like I said, you have to go to my blog. We have a thick piece of basic white. This is a 1/4 sheet of cardstock. I know that this is 5 1/2 by 4 1/4, and I took another layer of basic white and I ran it through this painted texture embossing folder. And I'm going to just take this and glue, oh, no, I got ahead of myself again. I want to take this piece here, and I'm going to fold it really good both ways on that fold line. And I'm going to glue this. I want to make sure it's really nice and that paper's broke down, because then we're going to glue this to the back of this one like this before we put it down. So just a little bit of glue right here on this fold. And I'm going to use the liquid glue, because in that way I can slide it into place. And I hope I'm not getting ahead of myself again, but I think it's time to do this part. Okay, and I think I want it about there. Really, I should get my silicone mat. Let me grab my silicone mat so I don't get any glue on my desk here. There we go. And slide it. But that looks pretty good, because then when we put this one here, it'll be underneath and they'll layer nicely. There'll be room for my little greeting right here and my milk can wherever he went. So okay, that's where I want that one. Then we'll do the same thing with this larger one. And fold him back. Make sure that paper's really and now I could have layered my pieces before I glued this down, but one time I actually put these pieces on upside down. So I think it's easier you put your layers down here and see where you want them, and then we'll add the layers. So again, I'm going to put liquid glue here. And then kind of slide this in where I want it to go on the silicone mat. So I'm going to slide him around and he might get sticky where I don't want him. We'll see. So if you lay it like this, I still have room for my little greeting here. They look pretty straight. Is this one lined up good with this one? Well, yeah, that looked pretty good. All fingers and thumbs, happy Monday. No, and you know what? I think it needs to go down a little lower, so I'm going to take it off and move it down just a hair. Now I moved it down too far. All right, where do we want it, Kathy? Let's go see about there and see. I'm also looking at the top border and the bottom border and kind of getting those as even as I can. And I think now I'm happy. Yep, I think that's where I want it, is right there. Okay, so if you can see the back, then make sure those are stuck down good. And then we have the front of our card. So let's go ahead and take this now and layer this onto that quarter piece of thick basic white. I'm going to make sure that that is centered on there. With that glue, I can slide it around for just a second. There we go. Put some pressure on there. Now let's do our layering. So this piece here is going to go on the front. I guess you'd call this the front, right? This square centers right there. And now my self-made, man-made, handmade, I don't know, whatever you call it, designer series paper is going to go right here. And just that little color or little pop of paper on there makes such a huge difference, it's not even funny. Okay, let's get our little can here, our milk can with some dimensionals. Put a couple dimensionals on there. I'm going to just lay this flat, my greeting on there flat, milk it for all it's worth. Right here, my little milk can. I don't have any fingernails right now, although they are finally starting to grow back. I'm going to lay those, my little can right here. And then we need our cow, which I'm going to lay my cow body flat. So he's walking in front of the flowers. And then I'll just take a dimensional and put that right up here and put his little head. So it's just tilted just a little bit like, huh? There you go. So there's the card. Now we need to put the inside in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some tape on the back of my inside. And then I'm going to lay it here, tape side down. And then lay my card, close my card onto that, so then that way I know it goes. And I'm not going to apply a lot of pressure, and that way if I need to straighten it after I put it on there, but at least now, although never mind. No, you know what, I remembered, if I lay it this way along the edge here, then I'll know for sure. That's right, that it'd be covered up because you don't want to see it when your card's open. Duh, come on, Kathy, you're slacking. Alrighty, so the last thing we need is just some embellishments to put on there. So I have a bunch of these, what are these called? Festive? No, red, no, they're festive pearls. Now, I don't know if these are still available. They're on the retired list too, but any little pearls right here would work. I'm going to take these little, I think those are pool party colored, and I'm going to just put them in the center of my little flowers. They almost fit perfect, except you got to hit the center with them. There we go. Sometimes when you're on camera, you're at an angle that's not good. There we go. And then I am going to take just a little bit of Wink Stella and put it on that tin. You probably can't see that, but the Wink Stella, it just gives it that nice little shimmer. And that maybe kind of looks like it's a metal can instead of just a piece of paper. Kind of draws it out a little bit. So there you go. There's the card. It's a fun fold with now I have my own designer series paper that I'll never run out of again. like that. So first of all, thank you, Christine, for swapping with me. I loved your card. Everybody at Club loved your card too. And there's a bunch of them. There you go. If you have any questions, be sure and reach out. Again, all my measurements and supply list will be on my blog. Give me just a few minutes to go and post it on there. And again, that's becreativewithkathy.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.